where have you been? I haven't seen you around in a long time.
I've been away, traveling across the land.
Did you see anything interesting on your travels?
It was all interesting, from the centaurs of the west to the dragon brand in the east.
What was your favorite of all the places you saw on your voyage?
Lion's Arch. It's an enormous, glorious city with a fascinating array of citizens.
What was your least favorite place?
Holbrack, a city of Norn, is covered in ice. It sapped my strength to be so cold all the time.
Did you bring back any mementos?
I have gold coins from Lion's Arch. The market there is incredible.
Alright, we're back! A lot of you guys actually like the way we look. That's awesome. I mean, there's still a ton of hairs and things that I do still want to show off, but hey, I'll take it. Especially the colors, I'm totally on board with. She looks more like a tomato than a cauliflower. I do appreciate that. But, yeah, we're going to roll with it anyway, guys. Let's just continue along. I remember as well, a few videos ago, I showed you this balloon, but we ran with it just for a minute in Lion's Arch, and that's about it. So I figure, hey, let's carry this balloon as we travel up through Caledon Forest now. A nice, cool summer evening where the sun has finally got behind the clouds, and I can cool down a tiny bit. And yeah, we will progress along. I think last episode we just unlocked an offhand. We did indeed. So we've got our focus we can check out. And weapon swapping is available. So just like with the warrior, Tyrix, a necromancer can also weapon swap. And we've got a staff here, which is a caster weapon we're going to put in there. So the staff, you'll notice, is not like elementalist staff because we don't attune. Just as we saw the axe got treated, just as we saw the focus got treated, we get a totally unique flavor of different things with the staff here. And then we can weapon swap over onto the axe and the focus. So we'll start with this just because we're mostly familiar with how all of this works. And progress forward a little bit more in a second with the staff stuff, which is a really, really kind of weird playstyle. It uses marks, which are a type of skill that a lot existed in Guild Wars 1 for Necros, and now in Guild Wars 2, they work totally differently. And I mean totally differently, so yeah. Progressing up just through the Caledon Forest, I don't really have too many cool anecdotes and things about these areas. Probably those of you watching have played these many times, because these are sort of some of the mandatory hearts and things that most people end up. I don't really want to... this does look goddamn beautiful, though. Don't really want to use the word grinding, but going over and over again to the point where, yeah, indeed, at this point, a few years after release, it may feel pretty goddamn grindy. We are just going to skip on... In fact, I just got turned around. I'm an idiot. Let's go back to this waypoint here at Wonderhurst, or Wardenhurst, or whatever it is. And we need to go along... Instead of going left here, which is what I did a second ago, like a dummy, and I walked over there, we want to take a right. Here's what I got tripped up. Through these bushes, sneaky, sneaky. I always got to feel a little bit turned around whenever I come into Caledon, or I get stuck over in these weird areas of the map. Yeah, and we're going to come this direction. Awesome. What is going on with these bats? This is so strange. Mobs just seem to be acting so weird lately. Okay, so they're coming at us. Right, let's look at the focus stuff. Let's summon, first of all, our Sylvari plant. Focus, we get the first skill, Reaper's Touch. Send out a scythe that bounces between foes and allies. If it hits a foe, it stacks tons of vulnerability. So you saw we had 23 vulnerability on that bat. That means he was taking 23% more damage, okay? So yeah, it bounces from enemies, and that's what you saw here. So I'll throw it out again. The scythe will bounce around the bats and stack vulnerable on them. Or when it bounces to us or any of our friends, it gives us regeneration, meaning our health constantly ticks up. So that's good. God, I've done that description of regeneration so many times. And this is actually kind of an okay combo of some traits and things you get as a Necromancer later, just because it can apply regeneration so often to you if you're in like a 1v1 scenario, or if there's a big group of enemies spreading a lot of vulnerability out. It's kind of nice. Honestly, a bit underpowered. I'd like to see this get some touch-ups at some point. And then also, we've got the skill 5, Spinal Shivers. Spinal Shivers, I think, was a Guild Wars 1 skill. I can't really remember what it did anymore now. But it chills your target and rips boons off of them, up to 3. Every single boon you hit, it does damage for, and more damage and more chill for the more boons. So, here's the thing. Mostly in PvE, in places like the Caledon Forest, until later when we get to the expansions, we're not going to find enemies with many boons, like this Sparkfly, right? It has nothing on him. So, if we use Spinal Shivers... I mean, it will one-shot the Sparkfly because... Wow, and what the hell? Oh, I guess I cancel cast it accidentally with an auto. I mean, we'll one-shot targets with this, but... or ambient creatures. The thing is, we don't really get much boon rip potential. So, you're not going to see me running focus that much, really, in the series, guys. Here's Spinal Shivers. I'll cast it on this guy. I mean, it's kind of cool. Doesn't have much of an animation, but that's it. And for these reasons, really, until much later, I don't know how much focus we'll see. But I do want to use it a bit. I love Elementalist focus. I love Mesmer focus. I love a focus on a lot of the different classes that can get it. But for Necro, somehow it just feels, for balance as it currently sounds, not even just balance, but for flavor of the skills too, I'm a bit lukewarm about it. Which is a shame because, you know, foci as skins in the game, this focus we see is just this like gnarled bit of branch with a... What is that, like a bell on the end or something? But there's a lot of really cool necromantic foci in the game. There's an excellent new legendary one they just added that looks like a book, and is all to do with demons. There's like skulls you can hold. There's all kinds of good necromancer foci, and I've just never really played with it that much in any format. There's been fleeting moments, but not too many. Anyway, much deeper out into the forest here. As you see, I've actually skipped past a lot of enemies. We did level as we were running through, so that's good. Carrotflower hits level 12 now. We can grab this garnet pebble to put in our... focus just there, and we'll be keeping an eye out on the fact we can get specialization soon. We'll be able to train some of those, but we do at least now get to our instance. Remember, we are looking for Occam's home, this Sylvari Smith. Okay, so what do we got here? Hello, anybody around? By the way, oh no, I think that's a place we go to later. So we're at a place called Sandy Code Beach, and that's actually a lion haven up there, which is kind of nice. So yeah, what we got? We got some mowers around. Anyone want to help? Oh, it's Keith. Hey, Keith. How's it going? We haven't seen you for a while.
Valiant. How unexpected. Nightmare courtiers attacked Bridget's Overlook. I came to investigate. What are you doing here?
I came to see Occam, but he's not here. He forged special armor for Bersilac. It may be the reason he's so powerful.
I see signs of a fight, but no blood upon the ground. The smith was kidnapped, not killed.
Whoever attacked this village must have gotten to Occam. I hope he's all right.
We can still learn a great deal. Look for clues. There may be more here than a first glance reveals. Search carefully. The smith may have kept a journal, or an account book. We need any information we can find.
Alright, so a chance encounter with Keith. Occam isn't doing this of his own volition, it seems. He's been kidnapped. He's got a nice little house. I like this quest a lot, because it's one of those small moments where you get to get a bit of the, I guess, not macro detail, but micro detail in the game world, right? You actually get to see how Sylvari homes might function. You can see their little fences that they build for themselves, and we can actually interact with the various things in the environment. So first, here's Keith. Hey, how's it going? I really do like her design. I don't know something about it, but it's really warmed on me in the more recent years. She says, keep your eyes open. We really need to find out what happened. Okay, this is Occam's home, isn't it? I was told we'd find the smith himself here. She says it is, and we should find Occam here, but I see no sign of the blacksmith. Perhaps he was injured in the attack on Bridget's Overlook. So the game is really understated in describing to us how Occam went missing, but they have it. What else do you know about this attack that happened at Bridget's Overlook? She says it was a bold one, that's certain. Keep your wits about you. Nightmare Court may still be in the air. So Bridget's Overlook, right? That's essentially kind of where we are. It's named Bridget. I believe Bridget, this is testing my knowledge of the game here, but I believe, if I remember rightly, the wardens, Bridget was one of the first wardens ever to leave the Grove. And I believe they were killed. Not necessarily the first Sylvari to die, but I believe they were the first warden to leave and die. They found Risen very, very quickly as they patrolled away from the Grove and kind of made it evident that there's sort of a lot of Zaitan activity in this area. So yeah, can you tell me more about the Nightmare Court? Because we really don't understand this. What do we know about the Nightmare Court so far? We know that they are, according to Keith, responsible for what happened in the dream at the start of the game. We know that they seem pretty evil, but what exactly is their deal? And Keith simply describes them here. And this is one of the earliest descriptions you get of the Nightmare Court. She says they are Sylvari who have turned their back on the Pale Tree and Ventari's tablet. They are evil, Valiant. Make no mistake. Do you remember in character creation, I told you there was another story that kind of plays with this idea? They're not really evil. They're more a shade of grey. If you can kind of see where they're coming from in some ways, they feel that because the tree was influenced by Ventari and his tablet, as it was being raised, that might not be the true nature of the Silvari, and they feel like they're shackled to that. So they want to get away from that as most as they can understand, which unfortunately Ventaria was all about pacifism and niceness and things, which kind of has set them on a very weird, dark path. And for from the perspective of us as the hero of the game, definitely they're not a nice sort, but you can kind of see how what they really seek at their core is freedom. And I wish the story went a little bit better, golden path mainline to demonstrate that, but there you have it. Okay, so that's all the Keith has to say. Now, if we come in the house, you can see that there is a starburst over this journal, which means I think we would skip. Oh no, there's a few starbursts. So what do we got? First, let's look in the garden. The game doesn't really want us to walk too far away right now. God, I love this map. This is definitely one of my favorite maps in the entire game. It just feels so big and open. And this isn't even seeing some of the cool landmarks just yet. So what do we got? Well, there is a book on the floor here. It says the Smithy account book. There's an entry for Duchess Fowlane commissioning a suit of green armor marked payment pending. Okay. Well, we can tell Keith about that.
Occam's account book. The armor was commissioned by... It was commissioned by Fowlan. This journal says the sale was never finalized. The court must have stolen the armor rather than giving the smith payment.
Who's Fowlane? She seemed to recognize that name a little bit there. Okay, so Fowlane wanted Bersalak's armor, this invulnerable armor from Occam, but the sale wasn't finalized. So they asked him to build it, pretending they'd pay, and then they just nicked it from him later. Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of the big answer we're looking for here. What is this here? We got a well-loved smithing hammer, and it's all green. This hammer was hurriedly hidden. The handle is worn and well-loved from long use. Curiouser and curiouser, we say. I swear, this conclusion dialogue line here, this should be a thing for all Silvari entries in all story steps all the time. Okay, so we've got the hammer. Anything else out in the garden here? Not that I really see. So in his house, very humble little dwelling, we have some blueprints. Blueprints for a magical suit of armor. The smith notes that it required unique components, and it was very hard to make. It truly is one of a kind. It's amazing to me that a Silvari, so newly born to the world, has created such an incredible artifact. But maybe we can say something about the dream influenced and led him to be able to do that. Keith will probably want to know about this as well, surely. Keith.
The notes say that the armor Bersalak wears is the only set Occam crafted. Good.
Okay, so, I mean, I kind of want to get more. I kind of want to get me a piece of that armor. That would be pretty nice, right? We go here. We've got crafting supplies, various armor smithing supplies in a state of disarray. Nothing interesting to see here. Well, I don't know. The fact they're in a state of disarray reaffirms to us that this was probably a break-in, right? Here we've got another smithing hammer, a human-made smithing hammer. Is that not interesting, maybe, that there's a human-made one? Here looks like a mini, aquarium-looking thing. I guess the idea is that they dip this in the water, actually. Look, you smash away here and you dip in the water, right, after you pull out the furnace. Look, I know how these things work, all right? I know. And then lastly, we've got this journal. So, Occam's journal describes the green armor's enchantments, and it says that they only work if the entire suit is worn. I love the idea that with this term enchantment, this was a game mechanic term for the original title. And I wonder whether... you know, we can actually point to some of those old, like, super strong monk enchantments, like elite ones, and say that they're on the armor. It's not actual invulnerability, it just feels that way. Anyway, Keith.
Look, Occam's journal says the enchantment on the green armor works only if the entire suit is worn.
Okay, so it's a little bit like, oh god, it's like a lot of things. So we need to get all the pieces. This is going to be a giant, world-spanning adventure about gathering all of the pieces of Occam's armor, stealing it from the Nightmare Core, and then defeating Zaitan, right, guys? It's going to last 80 levels.
If Fowlan commissioned his armor, then Bersalak is a member of the Nightmare Court. Listen, I hear footsteps. Someone approaches. Hide yourself a moment and let us see what we will see.
Ha! That sniveling smith refuses to work without his own tools.
Don't waste time complaining. If we don't return soon, the Duchess will flay us and make a winter cloak. Hurry up, you wretches. Collect the tools, and we're away.
Do you hear that? Someone is coming.
Oh yeah, I hear it. So yeah, Kaith favors sneaking. She is, if you put her into a Guild Wars 2 profession, really a thief, if anything. And I like how we get to see this a little bit. She is quite shady. She says, keep still and hidden as long as you can. Hopefully they'll reveal their purpose. Well, they kind of did. It feels like the game wanted to go a bit heavier maybe on the stealth idea. Later, when we get to Living World, expansion content and stuff, they start adding proper stealth mechanics. But for now, I think that really we're just supposed to hide, get that little bit of information, and then I'll charge out and kill them. So here they are. So the Nightmare Court themselves, guys. This is it. We're going to be fighting them. And there is a Courtier Elisade up there. Well, let's take out the small ones first, and then see what we got.
It's Kate. Catch her, and we'll earn title in the court.
Oh, so the court are particularly interested in Kaith. We also hear there. Easy to miss. So, like, this is a boss, right? But you won't ever see her boon herself, sadly. So, and tons of the professions have got moments and things like that, which is a shame. Hell, our Axe 3 is boon rip as well, which doesn't really do too much. But we can take her out as long as we stay away from her greatsword. Let Kaith take the brunt. Good job.
Well, look at this. You're Kaith. You're the one Duchess Fowlin talks about. She'll be delighted to hear you're still alive.
Speak her name again, and I'll cut it from your tongue. Now tell me where they've taken the smith.
The Duchess commissioned a suit of enchanted armor from Occam. She wanted it for Bersalak, our newest knight. The armor was so magnificent that Her Grace ordered us to come back and invite the smith to join her court.
Yeah, invite.
An invitation he undoubtedly wasn't allowed to refuse. Kaith, we have to rescue Occam. He made the armor. He'll know how to destroy it.
True. Still, if he has fallen to Nightmare, he can't be turned back to the dream. You've mentioned a girl named Gawain. Could she help us instead?
It's possible. Bersalak desires Gawain's favor. She could persuade him to remove his helmet and the protection it provides. But she's still grieving for her lost love.
Maybe the taste of revenge will cure her grief. Maybe it won't. Does it matter, as long as we stop Bersalak? We shall go to either Gawain or Occam. The choice is yours. Not a chance. That's enough violence for now.
Damn, Kaith. Wow. Oh, man, I love the Silvarians. So if you notice there, this member of the Nightmare Court was not necessarily dead or anything, but Kaith took the time to come over and actually finish her. So she actually killed her. And what they're showing, really, is among all the members of Destiny's Edge, Kaith is a bit of a dark horse. Kaith is a little unpredictable, a bit scary. And she does stuff like that. She, in fact, one of the other stories I think really hones that in. She's a bit of a nasty piece of work. So, if you were thinking of maybe forgiving, these are just Silvari at the end of the day. No. Kaith kind of won't have any of that. So, yeah, be cautious around her. Right, what do we want to do then? The Nightmare Court was beyond the creation of Bersalak's armor. We must act before he kills again. Right. So, what are our options? We could try to rescue Occam, but it could be too late, or we could use Gawain to bait a Bersalak trap. And we can ask for further details. If we go after Occam, is there any hope he's still alive? And she says, I know him by reputation. Brilliant. Quiet. Prefers a solitary life. He may be strong enough to resist for a little while, so he was resisting turn to the court. Good to know. What about Gawain? She might help us, but how do we persuade her? Difficult to say. Matters of the heart are never certain. So you might be wondering here as well what Kaith knows about matters of the heart. You can kind of wonder that with all Silvari, since they're also new to the world, but there are very real answers behind that on this particular character. Matters of the heart are never certain. Still, if Bersalak is now a member of the court, Gawain is in great danger. So I'm ready to decide. I'm going to pick here to save Occam. Number one, because I prefer how the story goes. Number two, because I think it introduces you to better characters. Number three, because I think the instance is better. And number four, because I don't think it actually makes any sense going to Gawain. Like, what? She's just a random Silvari. I know the idea is she could plead with Bersalak. But come on, I don't know. I don't really like it very much, just so we can take it off. Let's save this smith and get some more of this armor and weaponry and awesome stuff for the cause, right? Definitely, and that's what we want here. So we're gonna rescue Occam and strike the Nightmare Court head on. She says, you wish. I hope he's not yet turned to Nightmare. Meet me at Sandy Cove Beach. So they're kind of unclear here as to whether they're going to kill Occam or whether he's actually going to be turned into a courtier himself. And I guess we'll see. So there you go. Thanks very much. I don't know why the combat music's still playing, by the way. We can pick up a velvet... Oh, no, what did we get before? What were the gloves we got? I forget. We picked up velvet gloves. So let's get a velvet coat as well to go with that. Lovely. Also luxurious. And when we equip this, you'll notice it actually covers up a lot of our skin and things now. And the dyes look hideous, so we'll have to figure things out between videos. Kaith, she says the court's likely taking him to their camp at the Dolorous Vale. Meet me there. Okay, I will be there. And we'll be a little bit more leisurely in our stroll to this next area because, if I'm remembering rightly anyway, there's some really awesome landmarks nearby. Oh, actually, no, it's here, isn't it? All right, never mind. I jumped the gun. We can go pretty direct to Occam's location. Now it's the mission after this one that I'm thinking about. Sorry, I'm thinking too far ahead. I'm spoiling things for you guys. So let's just move on. And yeah, I guess the other thing we didn't really do. Let me get my balloon out again. That we didn't really do is read our story journal today. Have we got any cool quest items? No, it doesn't look like it. In fact, they're very brief with the descriptions here. You can kind of tell that when they were doing the Sylvari stuff, it was towards the end of development. They're very brief. On Gawain's advice, I sought out the smith that created Burslak's green armor. To my surprise, he's been kidnapped by the court. That's it. That's all they have to say. So we're gonna go save him in a pretty close... I mean, it would be a scary thing as a Sylvari to recognize this, but a pretty close hive of Nightmare Court activity. They could just be anywhere, really close all the time, you know? Let's grab the scout while we're at it as well. What's going on here? I might even go into the Haven and see what's up.
On the Weeping Isle in Ventry Bay, the soundless seek to isolate themselves, to be alone with their thoughts. However, outside the protection of the Grove, they're endlessly harassed by the Nightmare Court of Hemlock Coil. They could use some help.
So it's those very soundless that I really want to go over and interact with a bit because as far as the core game was concerned, they were just this small group of people living on an island. But what they're all about is fascinating, and it has actually affected a lot of speculation on lore and story in the years going forward. So we'll definitely check them. All right, so Hammer and Steel, let's do it. Kind of creepy looking swampy area here. Hello, Kaith, I'm back. What do you think of my phenomenal new shirt that I got off of the body of that woman you killed?
This is where the Nightmare Court is holding Occam. If we are to save him, Valiant, then we must hurry. The court is very good at what they do.
Do you think they'll kill him? If they did that, then he wouldn't be able to make them any more suits of armor.
Kill? No. The court increased their numbers through deceit and corruption. They spread poison at the roots. Eventually, he will listen to them, and then he will fall to their lies. It is the court's purpose to poison the Dream of Dreams, and thus corrupt the Pale Tree. The darkness we saw in your dream was one such attempt. They torture Sylvari, allowing the dream to absorb darker, more painful memories, both from themselves and from their prey.
Until he joins them just to make the pain stop. I see. We'd better get him out of their grasp immediately.
Agreed. Let's search the camp and hope that Occam has been stalwart thus far. Search the camp, and do not be afraid. I will be as close as your shadow.
Damn, so she's stealthed here. You can see she's got Invisible Stalker, and for the next 17 minutes. Actually, interestingly, it looks like she maybe... This could have been a 20-minute duration, but we've already been in the instance for 3.5 minutes, so it's been ticking down already. I wonder what happens if I just wait and see what happens there. But yeah, so, that's really the big description the game will give you of the Nightmare Court. And hopefully through these videos it's very clear now that the idea is because the Dream of Dreams is constantly being fed by all Sylvari various experiences, and then that pool of knowledge then affects future Sylvari. What the Nightmare Court are doing is that they're torturing and killing and doing all this horrible, evil, anti-Ventari stuff, really. Everything that Ventari taught and the Ventari tablet, just so that as much of that stuff as possible can influence the dream, and more Sylvari even start waking up inclined in that direction. And it's not that the Nightmare Court know that that's the true nature of the Sylvari, it's just that they don't want to be shackled to exactly what Ventari put the direction that he pushed everything in, if that makes sense. So that's why you can get these almost cartoonish motivations from the Nightmare Court, where they're like, "Whoa, I'm just running around, torturing and doing hellish, horrible things," and it seems like there's no real reason or purpose, but it's because they're constantly feeding back into the dream, and they're trying to make it not minority shadow in the dream, they're trying to make it majority, and it's working. It's creating horrible things in there, as we saw. And Kate doesn't like this, obviously. She says, "Stay wary, Valiant. These courtiers will want you dead. We should just rush in. No need to keep a low profile." Well, they won't wait around for anything much any longer. Your courage is commendable, she says, as is yours. Right, okay, so we got some Nightmare Hounds. So there are, there's a little area just outside the grove, which I never really showed you guys. But, I guess we can use our staff in a second as well. Where we learned that there are small animals that come out of the tree as well as Sylvari. They're called fern hounds. They're very cute. We will see some of them coming up. But there are nightmarish versions of them as well, and these are the nightmare hounds. Interestingly, do you remember how I talked about how there were wardens in a land very far to the south? There are also another thing called thorn wolves in a land very far to the south, and we see thorn wolves with the Nightmare Court too. So there's all these weird references. But yeah, okay, so there was a grub there as well. I don't know how, but fine. All right, let's go to our staff. Staff's really simple, right? You get a necromantic grasp, this auto attack, and it sends these hands out, which do a bit of damage, but not much. The main point is every time the hand hits someone, you sap life force from them, so you grow your life force really quickly. But then, all the other skills are called marks. And again, marks were like a form of debuff in Guild Wars 1. They were a hex. But in this game, what they are is they're almost like mini traps. So you get the mark of blood. And you see you get this symbol on the ground here. You get this mark here. This is the mark of... this is Chillblains. Next, you've got the putrid mark. And then lastly, you've got the Reaper's mark. And you can put them all in an area like this. Grab an enemy with your auto attack like this, and then this guy's got a bow, so he might not run all the way in. In fact, he'll probably stop and attack Keith. But if you can drag him, when he walks into your marks, look, he got chilled and poisoned there. That was our Chillblains. And when he walks into this next one, there was an explosion. That's the putrid mark. So, yeah, that's the idea. And you can kind of just spam them on people, or you can set up like little nests like this. It's a fun, weird thing with Necro. There are a couple of other very rare specific places you can get marks, but we'll have to talk about those a lot later. And you can trait them, and that's where they'll become more interesting, I think. So yeah, there you go. That's staff, really. The 5 fears. That's the Reaper's mark.
Infiltrator, my hounds will feast on you.
Here you go. So these are thorn wolves, as I mentioned. There were thorn wolves with the wardens in the south. They do a lot of damage. The 4 is an explosion that transfers conditions, but they're not really going to do much condition to us. Oh god, we're dying. Here we go. Into Death Shroud, and now we can protect ourselves. Yeah, let's try and knock them down. There you go. Kate's got the aggro now. Our skill 5, you saw they did tons of damage. They were actually kind of scary. The 3 is the chill and the poison, and then the 2 is just very simple, bit of regeneration for us and bleed on them. That's the stuff. And you can combo things together in interesting ways. One of them puts a chill field down, while another is a blast, so you can blast the chill field and whatnot.
Smell that, my hounds? That's the smell of fear. Relish it.
So here you can see she actually whips us. She says that she revives pets here. I think once upon a time there might have been a mechanic where she did that, but I don't know anymore. Oh look, she gave herself a boon. Yay, we can get rid of that one boon. Nice. So now the hounds die and that's it. But yeah, those are thorn wolves with the Nightmare Court.
Avenge me.
And down she goes. You alright, Keith? Oh, she got quite low. Stay wary, these courtiers will want you dead, we know. Alright, so moving deeper in now, you can see all these like little thorny jails and prisons. There's some patrolling guys here, so let's deal with these. Let's throw out our skill 4, swap to the staff. That's good.
Refreshing.
So here, instead of creating a trap nest, I'm just going to cast the marks on him. And then go straight into Shrouds, Doom to fear him away. I'm going to run around, actually.
They learn the error of their ways.
Oh gosh. So when you're in Death Shroud, this has been something I've been quite scared of so far. When you're in Death Shroud, you get everything else interior gets really quiet because it's like, I guess, you're transfer in the middle of plains or whatever. So everything just gets really quiet. So Kate was just talking there and we couldn't really hear her. So here, I will read it from the chat log. She says, I'll set a trap for any who dare to follow us. We'll slip back out of the camp when they learn the error of their ways. So Kate thinking 2 steps ahead there. As a thief, she can sort of drop traps and things. What are these things they're dropping here? Poison pods. A poison pod. Drop poison nearby foes with a range of 1. Let's try this. What does it do? Just drop a big gas field down? Oh, wow. That's a kind of a weird animation. Okay. So, yeah. So we have to be very careful while I'm playing Necro. You might find I don't do too much Death Shroud stuff just because I don't want us to miss dialogue. That's like the worst thing in the world to me. I cannot have missed dialogue. That's like a nightmare.
You'll let me out, yes?
So we have to be careful. Oh, check it out. Wait, where did Kaith go? She's setting a trap up there, is she? Right, okay, I see. And she's stealth. So here he is. Here's Occam. Were there other people we could free, by the way? In some of these instances, you'll find that the Nightmare Court, quite often when they're in the story, there's lots of jails and things, and they're keeping lots of prisoners, and you can do fun things with them. I think here he's the only prisoner. Hey, Occam, sorry that I'm taking a while, dude. Yeah, I'm going to create a plant, and the plant will break through your plant jail in a true Sylvari fashion. Will it actually attack? It will. There you go. Yeah. Break that down. Go on. Go on, plant. Yeah. Occam. What's up, dude? We hear you're quite talented.
Here to save me, I hope.
Occam?
Hell yeah, I am.
You're more bubbly than I'd expect for someone who's been tortured.
Them? Ha! Couldn't faze me. I knew someone would come. Left plenty of clues at the forge. Quickly now, and we'll go through the back, less guarded.
That's exactly what Kaith suggested. How did you hear her talking from all the way over here?
Hear her? No. Simplest solution to the problem. Hurry. Courtiers will be here soon. I can forge a vine wall to keep them at bay, but you must move fast.
All right.
As predicted, many courtiers approach. Vine goes here. Run!
So look at he cast his fire. No, I gotta watch you craft this, dude. This is too cool. Look at all the friggin' enemies.
Cut that wall down and go after them.
Okay, are we going? So this is a very rare instance. Quite often the personal story doesn't do this.
We need to keep running.
But this is actually a fleeing moment. We
need to keep running.
Yeah, I know. Kaith?
We need to keep running.
Oh god, she's not doing anything. Kaith? The trap? Hello? Oh my god. I don't know where to go. Oh, they're all bundling around Kaith here and they've all stopped moving. Wait. But the game is telling me to go speak to Kaith. I can't kill all of them. Why have they stopped? I think the instance was supposed to end the second we got here, guys. And they were supposed to hit a trap, but it might have bugged. What do we do here? Let's see how dangerous the Thorn Wolves are. They're not that bad. We might be able to charge in and do something. So here we go. This could be a really bad idea. Kaith, why do we have to fight all of these? This is not... I was in the middle of saying this is one of those rare moments in Guild Wars where there's like... It feels like you can genuinely fail. Like, if you remember right at the start of Guild Wars 1, there's that instance in the Great Northern Wall where you have to flee from the Char. It's kind of similar to that, but now I'm not sure what's going on. They do have a Hound Master with them. The thing is, they die quick, but they also do a lot of damage. So we've got to be really careful. Let's take these courtiers out. I'm being whipped by someone here. Occam's not helping. I suppose he helped enough as a smith building the wall. Oh, there you go. All right, Kaith said this way down the waterfall. Well done, love. It only took you friggin' million years. Okay. Jesus. Out to the waters.
Wait for it.
I can't move. It's a trap.
Huzzah! It worked perfectly, guys. It worked perfectly. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, I can't wait till we get to the expansions and the quality goes up.
Nice explosion.
I have to ask, Occam, why did you make Fallon the armor? Didn't you know she was of the Nightmare Court?
I knew, but she threatened me. Said they'd break my hands, leave me useless, take away my purpose and my joy. Still, once I saw what they'd done with my masterwork, disgusting. I should have thrown myself from the cliffs.
No, the lesson here isn't so simple. There are many strands in this tapestry, and yours is only one. Now that you are safe, we deal with Bersalak. Tell us, does your armor have a weakness?
Yes. To forge the armor, it had to be vulnerable to my smithing tools. My hammer made it. My hammer can destroy it.
Valiant, I propose that we use this information and challenge Bersalak to a duel. Then use the smith's hammer as your weapon and smash him to paste.
Sounds good. I bet Bersalak would come for certain if he received an invitation from Gawain. Kaith, talk to her and arrange the fight. Occam, bring your hammer. We'll hold the duel at Mabon Market. I want as many witnesses as possible when Bersalak falls.
So, interestingly, we hear about Mabon Market. I've always called that Mabon Market, but I guess the pronunciation's Mabon. Wait, Kaith's leaving already. But yeah, we could easily do it at the Pale Tree, but I guess the game wants us to explore a little bit further out. So we'll do it at this market, which is a cool place. Yeah, I also like in that scene there that Carriflower immediately starts stepping up, you know. Like, Kaith has guided a lot of this, but straight away we're like, no, Kaith, you go speak to Gawain. I can't be bothered with her again, and we move on. So we get a new staff. I'll pick up the Caretaker's staff instead of the Avengers one. Caretakers feels very Sylvari-like. There we go, and we get some extra health for that. We'll delete our old one. We got a level from that as well. Nope, nothing in particular there, but we do learn about some more things. And here's Occam. So he says, I hope the hammer's useful. Right, so hold on. What, you crafted a hammer that can break through the armor. Right. I guess it makes sense that you would be able to do that. Why were they holding you prisoner? He says, they demanded I make more armor. Forget that. I'd rather die, hence the cage. You don't need it to work at the smithy. Not until... Oh, wait, so we're talking about the hammer. You don't need the hammer? Not until my work's done. Destroy the armor. I can't stand filth like this using my masterwork. He kind of copped out a bit there. He's like, yeah, I knew they were Nightmare Court, and I made it for them. But now that I see what they're doing with it... What did you think they were doing with it? I mean, Jesus. I mean, I guess a member of the Nightmare Court slaying newborn Sylvari is pretty out there. So, okay, I'll stop them. You can count on that, Occam. So there you have it, Occam. And as you may guess, Occam really is one of the big reasons I wanted to do this whole story. He's a pretty profound guy, and he would be quite the asset in the fight to come, don't you think? I mean, if you were going to gather notable characters...
Stay on guard. There are several drake nests up ahead.
Oh, what was that? I don't know. It looks like someone's actually doing a escort event. So we did an escort a few days ago, and you guys loved the dialogue and stuff as we were traveling through the world and following the caravans and stuff around.
I wouldn't turn away a little help.
And some of you said, oh, you should do all the exploration in the game with escorts, so you get dialogue and it's like the entire game is one big long story. I love that idea, and honestly, a lot of Tiri you could do. There are escorts that take you through the main flow of most of the maps. I really like that idea, but it's not fully conclusive. And some of these only, you know, it's very difficult to know exactly when some escorts spawn, and they require some events to fail and things. It would just be a bit nuts, sadly. If this was like a single-player game, I definitely would have done that. But for now, we'll just have it as a happy coincidence whenever it happens. But yeah, check it out. So, looking over the beach.
I'm here because guns scare me.
What? How can you be afraid of guns?
I just am.
Wow. It's okay. I'm afraid of guns too, Miss Worker Lady. So this is Asura speaking to a human. It's just the second you see this, that you realize, oh yeah, this is going to be Lion Guard associated, surely. So here's the Lion Guard. Sheriff Nora. It's always something around here, as if building a haven in this jungle isn't enough of a headache on its own. Anything I can help with? Our main problem is with the Nightmare Court. They're constantly harassing the Soundless encampment to the northwest, even on the roads. I tend to help, but the Lion Guard around here is spread thin as it is. What is this place?
All this sawing and hammering and pounding, it's enough to wake the undead.
Is there any chance a patrol is heading to the Weeping Isle soon? Lieutenant says no patrols until the haven is finished.
I see. Sorry. I won't take any more of your time.
Go ahead and ask around. Maybe someone else can help you.
Well, look, that's a Soundless villager there. We've heard a lot about them. Let me just finish her dialogue here, and then we'll go follow creepily that Soundless.
At all times.
Anything I can help with? I'd send help, but the Lion Guard around here is spread thin. What is this place? It's Bay Haven. Lion's Arch sends the Lion Guard out to keep the trade routes safe, and these havens are outposts from which to work. We do what we can in the area, but we're understaffed right now.
Ooh, I hate that.
I'm not sure what those guys were saying. Right, so the Soundless. It sounds like they need help. I don't know where that member of the Soundless went, but they're on this little island down here. And again, this is one of those things where it's like, okay, if we imagine the lore, we might imagine that that's quite a big... Oh, here she is. Hello. And she's even telling us about an event. She says, I came to Bayhaven to get supplies we can't acquire for ourselves on the Weeping Isle, but the trip is dangerous, especially for one of the Soundless. Can you escort me back, please? Soundless? We keep to ourselves and avoid sharing our thoughts and emotions, so they call us Soundless. Nightmare Court raids forced us out of Northsheed Refuge, so we moved to be the more defensible Weeping Isle. Where's Northsheed, I wonder? Is it down here where we were a second ago? Maybe this is Northsheed. Huh, so why is this trip so dangerous? It used to be the wildlife. The local animals get very territorial. Lately, though, the Nightmare Court have been the real danger, and with their haven unable to provide patrols... Okay, the line guard isn't sending out patrols, we say? She says, I don't know the details, but the lieutenant at Bay Haven says they lack the manpower. Something about the Haven still being under construction. It'd be done by now if they'd grow out their buildings like us. That's kind of a good point. The Silvari must think this is all very peculiar, right? Mind you, plants don't grow that quick. Maybe interior, right? The Nightmare Court's attacking when aren't they? They kidnap travelers when they can, especially the Soundless. They already drove us out of the refuge, and now they squat like they're like a beast menacing anyone that wanders by. Can you tell me more about these? No. Okay, so we could do this event.
Just a moment.
Can I speak with you for a moment?
I'll tell you what.
Thank you for coming along. It'll be good to have company.
Let's do this escort, except what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit all the combat bits and the non-dialogue bits, and we'll see where we end up. Let's see if this works, okay, guys? We'll see whether this is a fun way to do things. She will eventually take us to that isle, which, as I was trying to say, in lore, we can imagine that's quite a stretch of water. And the island itself is quite large, hosting a very reasonable-sized community. But as a game, they can only show so much.
I hope you don't mind if we run. The less time spent on this road, the better.
Hell yeah, I want to run. Definitely. I love it when escorts do that. Okay, so we will try this out, and hopefully before long, we'll be over at the Isle, guys. Let's protect these Soundless, and we can learn a little bit more about them. Just before, yes.
The lieutenant told me that until the Haven is completed, there are no soldiers to spare for the road.
We will then look at Bersalak and deal with all of that. Okay. Also, we got another player here. Beautiful.
Stay sharp. We're close to the ruins of Gnaw's Head Refuge. That used to be our home until the Nightmare Court showed up. Now we've moved to the Weeping Isle. Thanks for your help. I couldn't have made it without you.
Alright, there we go. That seems pretty good to me. So she's now running on in. That was a really easy event. We just basically ran around the bay. Instead of swimming through it, they gave us a way to walk around. So yes, this Soundless. The Soundless are a lot like the Nightmare Court. She'll probably say something when she gets back and greets her people, by the way. So be prepared to be interrupted. Oh, no, here's another event, it seems. Or there's some kind of an icon there. The Soundless are a lot like the Nightmare Court in that once, again, they kind of... They're forging their own path, and they're seeking their own way. But while the Nightmare Court are mostly sort of reacting to the tablet and trying to push away from that, these guys, looks like the sun's setting, these guys are trying to disconnect themselves from the dream altogether, and successfully in doing so too. So here we actually have very secluded Silvari that... almost, except for the fact they were born fully grown and the way that they develop and stuff is very different. These are more like normal people on Tyria than anywhere else because these Silvari don't have that dream connection any longer whatsoever. And so maybe we can get a bit more information from them.
You have my attention.
Here's Quillen. He says, hello, are you looking for anything in particular? Peace, perhaps? You're one of the Soundless? He says, I'm trying to be. My silence isn't as deep as the others, but one doesn't change overnight. I still struggle.
You know how I feel.
Why? What a cold life it must be.
So.
Oh, no. So over there they said, do you know how I feel? And the other one said, I think so. What a cold life this must be. He says, don't judge me, and don't look for a tragic reason for my soundlessness. I choose it because I must, just as big as you must, follow your wild hunt. Oh, is it wild hunt to follow? Yeah, if we were a different race, by the way, a human, we might not say that it's a cold life. We might, you know, honor that. If we're a Norn, for example, we might honor their individuality very heavily. Are all of you here the Soundless? He says, to some extent. We came here to get away, but as it turns out, we could have chosen a better location.
Last night, I was overcome with thoughts. Images of my companions back home.
That's to be expected. In time, with more practice, you'll be able to purge yourself of such unwelcome intrusions.
God, these guys remind me of the Vulcans so much. Anyway, he says, we could have chosen a better location, still we get by, and we say, yet you stay. How strange. It's weird, because I know we're just young and naive, but we sound so judgmental.
Act with wisdom.
I will indeed. So these guys they still agree with what the Pale Tree and the Tablet believe, right? But they don't want to be connected anymore. She says, hello. Oh, you look a bit like us. She looks a bit like a radish, actually. Are you looking for anything in particular? Peace, perhaps? You're one of the Soundless? I'm trying my side. Oh, she has the same dialogue? Really? They don't all have the same dialogue, do they?
Hello.
Oh, how disappointing.
You have my attention.
Oh. That's a shame. Someone else must have something else. There's a heart vendor here, so here. Iona says, separating oneself from the dream is no easy choice, but it's a choice we've each made. We've left the grove to escape the constant pressure, but now we have the nightmare court to deal with. How can I help you? Living off the water's bounty is hard when the local jellyfish keep us from tending our nets and traps, and the nightmare court attacks don't help either. We could use some help keeping things running smoothly. How did you end up here? She says, we used to live at the refuge, a place on the coast. A nightmare court raid left it in ruins. Talieth and I managed to escape with a few others, but even moving to an island wasn't enough to keep us safe. Sounds rough. Take care, we say. So, yeah, these are the Soundless. Now, as the plot goes ahead, especially expansion-wise, you're going to see a lot of profound stuff happens to the Silvari, to the state of the Silvari, and what the dream is, and all of this kind of stuff, right? And when that happens, there's going to be a very sharp spotlight shone on these Soundless villagers. So do remember them. Here's a guy, Apprentice Pedder. He says, Talieth is a talented smith. I'm glad she took me as her apprentice. I thought that was a male name. It feels good knowing that I'm helping to make tools and weapons to help our village. Okay, I'll leave you to it. So yeah, do remember those guys? That's the Soundless. And for us, though, just a small step along the way to Maben Market. And the end of the first chapter, the Knight's Duel. So let's do it. Bersalak. I guess Gawain will be here as well. Occam, perhaps. Let's see what you got. Hey, Keith.
Here, I forged the armor with this hammer. It will do the task.
Damn.
Excellent. It will make a marvelous weapon. With this, we can stop Bersalak permanently.
Not just stop him, beat him to a pulp. Good luck.
So, check it out. We get the hammer. Occam's enchanted hammer. This is exactly the one we saw on the ground earlier. You've unlocked the power of Occam's hammer, it says. The way it says unlocked, it's so curious. It's like this, I don't know, is some kind of more of a game mechanic that would come back later or something. But yeah, so what do we have here? Well, we've got the auto. We can swing, 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 a bit like a warrior. We can use the skill 2, just like a warrior. Actually, no, that's different to the warrior's one, isn't it? Anyway, we can send a shockwave out that cripples people. We've got a skill 3. It's called Purify. Purge up to 5 conditions from yourself and nearby allies. Give yourself might and regeneration. What does this look like? So I don't really know these skills very well, by the way, guys, because this is like not normal profession stuff. So that's cool. We get a skill 4, Earth Shaker. Now, if you remember, on a warrior, you could only get this with a ton of adrenaline on your burst. But here we just get it anyway. So we jump to a location, slam down. We knock everyone down where we land.
Shore up defenses. We must protect this location.
Oh, the warden's hoping to protect us. And then lastly, Backbreaker. Coax entangling roots out of the ground with a powerful smash. So on a warrior, this just like knocked people down. But it's different here. We coax entangling roots out of the ground with a powerful smash. I don't think we'll see those roots come out of the ground unless we have a target nearby. But yeah, okay, so there's wardens. There's a lot of dialogue here if we actually find the people to speak to. Oh, valiant Carrotflower, please be careful. We can't afford to lose you. I know how to defeat him. Just stand back. Sorry, we were nearly leaving the instance there. They say the same thing. Okay. And besides, the wardens are watching us here. No longer will you terrify Silvari, newborns, Bersalak.
Ready.
Oh, I'm ready, Mr. Warden Ranger. I'm ready indeed. So all the market stalls and things seem to be abandoned. You'll notice that these are actually crafting stations. I can't remember if I've mentioned this, but every single one of the starting maps in the game has like a mini town place where you can practice a new discipline and things. And Maben Market is the Silvari one. Okay. There's a hound in there. Lots of bubbly sounds as we walk around here. Yeah, everyone is well and truly left. This is just all empty crafting stuff with everyone having fled. Here you can find a mini Asura Gate. Answers of that will be revealed in the open world. Just seems like people have sort of bailed. Except a handful of...
defensive position.
Except a handful of wardens. It's nice how they speak to us. I wonder if once upon a time there was going to be an idea of fighting through all of these areas until eventually we'd get to... Because look, there's supplies and stuff here, which we can break. There's like destructible terrain and stuff. But none of it really matters for the actual instance. Don't fight him, valiant Carrotflower. Bersalak is a cruel opponent. He'll kill you. Don't worry, I'm here to stop him. Don't worry, I'm here to stop him.
The plants around here are on edge. That's not a good sign.
Oh, see, look, remember, the Silvari can kind of, in a way, commune even with the plants around them. They can feel them. All living things. So, over there, you can see way off in the distance is Bersalak himself.
We are the ward that keeps this place safe. Stand strong.
Okay. I want to come up here because, yeah, check it out. there's some Tengu. So here's the Kuromi. We met a few Kuromi before, and we've seen a glimpse of the Tengu wall before from Keswick's Hills. But we're actually quite near to the Dominion of Winds again now, in a different area of the world, and so there are lots more Tengu around. Hello. Hold on there. You cannot fight outside my shop. It's bad for business. Okay, get those bystanders inside so nobody gets hurt in the fracas. He says, that is a good idea. Bodily harm is bad for business. Okay, among other things, farewell, we say to the Tengu. Any excuse to speak to the Tengu, I love it. Yes, he's a cruel opponent, I know. They're so cowardly. Jesus, regular citizens. You can tell how we're going to end up becoming the big shot in this story, right? Okay, we got some Sylvan Hounds. These are the creatures I said came out of the tree. And what do we got? Well, Aladus here and Dagdar's here. Hey, guys. Aladus and I heard that you were fighting against Burslack again. We're here to support you. May the pale tree guide your blows. That's very kind of you, Dagdar. Thanks for believing me. Which one of you was injured at the start here? Was it Aladus that was down? Be careful. I know what it is to fight that monster, he says. This time, I'll beat Burslack for good. This guy looks awesome. I love his red eyes. Yeah, so they're back on their feet. They've been tended to, I guess. It's been like a week. It's actually real world time been ages for me to actually get these videos out, so it really does feel like it was a while ago that we saw these guys had been taken out. It's been quite the saga dealing with Burslack here. Hey, Occam. My beautiful armor defiled. End him, Caraflower. Do not hesitate. Okay, Burslack will get what's coming to him. And Kay says, Occam says his hammer will be the way to defeat Burslack. I'm inclined to believe him. I hope he's right. So here we go.
Burslack, are you ready to fight yet?
A flimsy sprout like you will never defeat me. Even so, I'll teach you one final lesson in pain.
You ran off before.
Last time your enchanted armor made it a bit unfair. Face me honestly and we'll see who's flimsy.
Occam's hammer. Do you think I really need my magic armor to beat you? You'll see.
Okay, so I think he's taken his helmet off as well. Has he?
Was my friend too. Avenge him, Valiant.
Oh my god, I accidentally right-clicked there a little bit. Yes, don't worry, Villager, we'll be fine. Yeah, let me cast this while I can ramble out trivia for you guys. Did he just say that he's taking his armor off? I don't know. But yeah, we're going to just crack through it. He looks like he's still in his full set as he attacks my seed turret and gets distracted for a moment. So let's see. Let's use the Occam's hammer backbreaker. Yeah, look. So here we create a route around him, which has immobilized him, which is sapping his break bar. And actually doing reasonable damage to him as well. So that's really good. Let's get away from him. Consume conditions here just to get our health back up a little bit. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Right, yeah, so you'll probably notice we're holding Occam's hammer. This is all a bit of a tongue-in-cheek reference to the idea of Occam's razor, right? It probably didn't need to be said out loud, but there you go. So there, I use Earthshaker on him and break his break bar a lot, but it's slowly recharging because we don't have, like, cripples and chills and things for him. So, yeah, we'll have to be cautious with that. Let's use the skill 2 as well. Doesn't that do something nice? I don't know. Let's use Purify. Oh, the 2 doesn't actually do that much.
Nightmare, take your spirit, and I may let you live.
No, I will never surrender. Stay away from me. Let's summon the seed again. That was actually awesome. Is it?
Yes.
I will get him. Don't you worry. God, this feels like such a big, heavy, swingy, smashy hammer. It's amazing. So do 1. So if we do the 4 and then we immobilize him, the immob can drain and stop him regenerating.
You're gaining the upper ground. Keep at it.
If we do 2 backbreakers into the immob, we should get him back to back, break his bar, and now we can just smash him around the head. Yeah, down you go.
You can't defeat me. How is this possible? I will slay you all.
No, you won't. You're going down. Let's give ourselves some more might. Break bar's back up. I don't think it'll matter. I think he's just going to be regular dead before that becomes relevant again.
Wait, we must be certain.
Wait, we must be... Oh, she said wait, did she? I almost missed that. All right, Kaith. He looks dead. Are you going to just brutally destroy him again? It looks fine to me, Kaith. Are we good?
Good. He is truly dead. Burslack will not rise again.
Woo! Hell yeah! And they all applauded us.
Victory! So the Nightmare Court can be beaten after all.
Never give up, Occam. Speaking of that, I fear the Nightmare Court may target you to make more armor. Would you like to come and live in the Grove with me? You'd be safer there.
Respectfully, I decline. Too much noise. You've shown me how to fight them. Now, I will.
I think I may take you up on that offer. I still mourn the loss of my beloved, but I can't stay by his grave forever.
Mourning alone only brings more sorrow. You would be welcome, and may stay as long as you like. You'll be safe there.
Safe. The Grand Duchess will soon find another way to draw the dream into darkness, and then none of us will be safe. It is her way.
It sounds like you have history with this Grand Duchess Fowlin. Did you know her well?
Perhaps once. But I don't know her anymore. Never mind. You've done well, Valiant. Enjoy this moment. Like all victories, it will fade.
Oh my god.
Come. Like Gawain, we should not dwell on sorrows. One image in your dream has been resolved, but the other, the dragon, remains. It is time to speak with the pale tree.
Ooh, time to speak with the pale tree. Oh man, there's so much to get out of that. So, first of all, yeah, we get an NPC at home instance. This is one of the rare times the story very bluntly talks about them coming home with you. I get that there's so many NPCs though that if they actually wrote it into the story every single time, the game would have been repeating itself constantly. That might have been nice though if they were always doing that. But yeah, Gawain's actually going to come to our home instance. Occam's going to go off to do bigger and brighter things. Oh, Valiant, I'm so grateful to you. Burslack got exactly what he deserved, and now my beloved Evart's soul can rest, and we say, make your way to the grove, Gawain, and be at peace. Another interesting thing here is the idea that it was that nightmare we saw in the dream. Keith at least seems to suggest that that was caused not just by generic Nightmare Court activity, but maybe specifically because of Berserk. Maybe we can say that the 3 stories you choose at character creation, they all deal with the Nightmare Court in some way. Maybe all of them combined is what really was causing that in the dream, or maybe it was something else. Maybe it's a herald for something further. That's our interpretation, really, to come across. You can also see just how sad Keith is. She says, like all victories, this won't last. She's clearly looking back at Destiny's Edge, and she seems so tormented and sad by the whole thing. And yes, a hint to a backstory of Fowlane. With Berthlack's death, so dies his petty tyranny. When you're done celebrating, meet me in the grove, and we'll tell the pale tree. What will happen to the armor now? She says, I'll destroy it. The armor's been infused with nightmare. It cannot be allowed to exist. It's such a shame. Berserk should make more that's not infused with nightmare, and then we got something cooking. Anyway, good. I'll see you soon. So, yeah, I wonder whether before we leave the instance, Occam himself has something more to say. The thing is, I don't actually know where he would be in this instance. He was here, wasn't he? I wonder whether he just ran... No, here he is. He says, excellent work. Thanks, Occam. I hope we meet again. Oh, the game foreshadowing something there. Dagdar, incredible. I'm so relieved. Now the newly awakened Silvari will be safe. Thanks to you, Caraflower. It's my honor to protect the offshoots of the pale tree, we say. And Elidus says, that was amazing. Dagdar nearly broke my hand. He was squeezing so hard. We're both very proud, you know. I wish the best for both of you. Aw, they were holding their hand, each other's hands. And I wonder whether the Tengu have got any kind of thanks for me now. Look, see? Oh, yeah, I remember this. So now he's called a merchant. I don't know whether he was before, but if we spam F, you can see that it seems to be like opening a vendor list, but then it instantly closed. So the game is just a bit bugged here, as often you'll find if you try to really dig into it and speak to a lot of the NPCs. But yeah, okay, cool. So let's get out. That's going to be the end of the part here. Next time, guys, we will be going to the tree, and as Kate said, actually speaking to the pale tree. So that's kind of a weird idea you might not recognize as possible. But yeah, the tree itself is sentient. It does have a physical representation, a manifestation interior, the avatar of the tree. It does commune with very special Silvari, its firstborn and very privileged few. And Keith is going to take us along to go check that out. There's also some other amazing stuff I want to do. I want to talk to more of the Tengu here at Maven Market. I want to show you that awesome thing over there, which is, yes, the Tengu wall. And we will get another 10 levels, so we can start training some of our specialization stuff. We can get some new armor. There's a ton to look forward to. So thanks, guys. That's the conclusion of the level 10 story, pretty much. And I will see you all for that very shortly in the next episode. Take it easy, guys.
Some of them are quite friendly.
No, these weren't Asura. These were tiny little creatures. Miniature versions of big creatures, scampering everywhere.